to our second Facebook Live post for Forces of Flight. Amy and I are outside enjoying our beautiful weather and wanted to say hi as we get started. Excuse us, we don't have a document camera, so we're working between phone cameras and laptops and making sure we have everything working. So give me just a second as I get super close, make sure my computer is working also. Okay. Well, I don't know what my computer's doing. You gotta watch it.
Got it.
Okay. So we are here for Forces of Flight, and I want to make sure everybody has some supplies with them. So you're gonna want regular old copy paper. If you have a chance, cardstock. Moms and dads, I used cardstock from my scrapbook. Really nice. It's 65 weight cardstock, so it gives a really nice flight. Grab a pair of scissors, grab some tape, have some paper clips we may or may not use, and definitely need a minifig or a small figurine of some sort. We're going to be also sending my little dinosaur flying. Forgive me, my dinosaur fiends. I'm not sure which one this is. Is this the Dilophosaurus?
I don't know.
I'm the space person, not the dino person. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Give me just a moment. I'm going to move the camera down.
Wait, Miley, before you get started, let's give a couple people a chance to get logged on. It's just now 10 o'clock.
Oh.
So give everybody a chance to log in and introduce themselves.
Okay. So where is everybody from? I know we have a couple internationals we're talking about coming to join us. Hoping Amber's out there over in Rhode Island. She said she was going to come. And hopefully Tracy and her kids. Tracy actually works for us. So, oh, here comes my Facebook Live on my computer. I think it doesn't like being upright as part of its problem. So, with the social distancing, Amy, Beth, and I are learning our social media manager skills, our camera, and the technology as fast as possible. We are taking classes with Zoom, so we hopefully will be getting an online classroom up and running. Obviously, I'm learning Facebook Live. We hope to have a Spectrum of Science YouTube page with some of our video tutorials as fast as we can make them. And Amy, Beth, and I are also building all of our challenges that will be coming up. So for my middle schoolers, I have a challenge for you guys. Keep your eye on our Facebook page. Email us if you'd like it. Amy Beth has already started construction, so we'll have the challenge. We'll have an engineering book for you, and you guys get to also work. My parents, do you guys want an only science lesson? So it would be 21 and up, and we'll play with our parents and the tutorial there for them too. I think we're ready to go ahead and go?
Let's do it. We promised.
Okay, so give me just a moment. I'm going to move the camera and show you my temporary desk that's out here. Okay. Let me swing this a little bit more. Look, notes galore. Okay. So we will use scissors later on, but can anyone answer what is a force? Anybody know? Without peeking at my notes? Okay, so a force is either a push or a pull, as I am pushing and pulling and clearing my desk around. So I can pull my string, or I can push it away or push it off the table. In flight, we have 4 forces that are going to affect my airplane. So our force that pulls down, everybody's going to say it's gravity pulling down. Yes, gravity pulls down. Gravity also pushes the planets away. But for my airplane, the force that's going down is actually weight. And forgive my spelling, W-E-I GHT. Okay, here is my learning disability with the E's in my eyes. So weight is going to be the downward force for my airplane. So what's going to go the other direction is lift. And lift is the upwards force. So lift is what's going to work with air resistance and is generated as the air flows over the wing of my airplane. General takeoff speeds for my jetliner is about 150 miles an hour. Okay, NASCAR Indy 500 racers, anybody know how fast those cars go? 180, 220. Why aren't our cars also turning upside down? Easy reason, they also have a wing, but their wing is upside down to keep them down to the ground. Kind of fun for some of my, used to do to my little sister all the time is I would drag her around the room. Okay, so drag is also a force on my airplane, and drag is going to help pull backwards. It is our stabilizing force. Then the most important one is the force that our airplane, or the direction our airplane wants to go, which is forward, and that force is our thrust. So, air resistance, talked a little bit about it. It's similar to drag, but air resistance, like gravity, is an outside force, not a force from my airplane. Air resistance is going to be the air around my airplane that makes it either more difficult for the airplane to move through. It's what causes the fun turbulence. If you've ever been on your airplane, it goes, ah! So what we work with is which force has, which in lift has a better push force that we want to work with for our flight. And that's going to work off of our wings. So what do you guys think is better? Has a still slow moving air or something that's really fast moving through? Anybody got a guess? Okay, it depends on the shape of our wing. If I can kind of fold this piece of paper. So we have a flat bottom and the curved top. And so what we're going to do is, I'm going to try and actually turn the camera back to me so you guys can see as I create the air pressure. Am I lined back up again? Hello everybody. Okay, so to show this, who thinks still air has a bigger push to it? Everybody got a guess? Okay, who thinks the faster air has got a big push? So to test this, what we're going to do is I'm going to hold the piece of paper and I'm going to blow across the top. That's going to give me the fast moving air. So if my fast moving air has more push to it, the piece of paper will go down. If the slow moving air that's underneath has more push, except I've got a little bit of a wind, the air is going to go up. So we can see our difference with our air resistance, fast versus slow. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hold the piece of paper tight and blow across the top. So what's happening is my fast air is moving, it gets out of the way. The slow air fills in up underneath, giving us our lift playing off of air resistance. The reason why we want to know this with paper airplanes, I'm going to switch my camera back down, is do you have an airplane that's built for inside flying, or do you have an airplane that's built for outdoor? Even this slight bit of breeze will change how our airplane, it's still moving. Maybe if I tighten that one. So fast versus still changes how your airplane flies. So
Still moving.
Still moving. Amy Beth to the rescue. So we're going to start with building our first airplane. Everybody ready? Everybody needs, let me clear off my desk a little bit. These are several more different experiments we're going to be playing with in a few minutes. But we're going to start with a simple piece of paper. Now I know everybody builds paper airplanes. There's lots of different ways to do this. The one we're going to build today is one I built during my college days as a freshman. It won me a free semester of pizza. I was the dorm's darling because we had free pizza for the semester. So it's going to look like this. I actually have drawn some orange lines on it to show you, but we're going to start with, and it's really simple. The diagonal lines means it has great thrust. Well, I give it the thrust, but the diagonal lines means it has great, it kind of cuts through the air resistance. It flies very well indoors and outdoors. So your first step is with your copy paper. We're going to first of all fold it in half. So you're going to fold it in half like a hot dog. Okay, now a lot of paper airplane designs have you open it up. Mine does not. So I've also got my sample folded in half with my orange lines. This is going to be your center line. We're going to come back to that multiple times. You're going to choose which side's going to be the nose of your airplane, which side's going to be the end of your airplane. Doesn't really matter at this stage, but you do need to know. So your second step, choosing your nose, you're going to take your one corner and you're going to fold it to meet your center line. So I've got my sample here. I'm going to take that corner and fold it to my center line. This gives me a fold line and a center line. So my fold line's on orange, my center line's back there in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and do this to both sides. So I can turn it over and also fold, making certain I still have my nose to both sides. And Miss Amy's trying to take a photo.
No, I'm trying to add light because the shadow is getting problems.
Oh no! Our trees, the lovely trees are in bloom. They all were in flowered last week and we've had this last rainstorm and they're all gone away. Should be interesting to see what happens this spring. If I pull it up, does that work better?
Move it towards me a little bit. And I think, can you move the whole table towards me? We'll get out
Give
of
us
the
just a
shadow.
second. Let's see if we can get out of the shadow.
And see if that helps with the fold lines.
Does that help? Here, take my computer
No,
down
it's
because we're
better.
not using it.
No, oh, okay.
Because this will also cause a shadow. Is that helpful? We could also, Amy, switch the bar to the other side of the table and get rid of that one shadow.
No, okay, we're...
Because this shadow is from
the
this
bar.
bar. Sorry, reset.
See how many people we can make dizzy, too. Okay.
California earthquake. How's that?
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
Ah,
you're good.
dinosaur's tail.
You're
Squash
in
the
great
dinosaur.
camera.
Don't tell Jordan. Okay. So we have folded our first two. Again, what we want to do is, we turn this over to my orange lines. We're now going to take this fold line to our center line. So we're going to grab the fold and fold it over to the center, giving us this kind of funny
Move to the end of the table.
triangular
No.
rectangle shape. No, because I caused the shadow over there.
Move the plane itself.
Plane
Plane to here. There we go. We
Okay.
will refold a second time now that we're figuring out the challenges.
So what you're doing is this fold line matches to this center line. We're going to fold it over. So I'm always matching to that center spine and fold it up. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it over again, taking my fold line to my center line. I'm trying to keep that initial fold also all neatly tucked in. Okay, so almost done. We're going to do it one more time. We're going to take this fold line to the center line, and this is going to fold our wing. And I tend to start here at my nose with this one and fold upwards and out. It's okay that it's not an exact match. It still works just perfectly. Turn it over. I'm going to take my fold line to my center line, trying to keep my nose as neat as possible. And I want to really good crease it, just like in origami. The tighter, the neater your creases are, the better you fly. And then if I open up just barely those two, I can hold it. It kind of looks like an arrowhead going through. Has my center where I can hold it. And if I set it down, it opens just a little bit to help with get the center valley in there. That helps with air resistance, helps to cut down on the drag, but also helps with our stabilizing. So I'll come back to my second one. We'll show you one more time, and then we're going to do a test flight. So I had my first fold was a gives you kind of that 90-degree angle. That folds down, always coming to the center spine even. And I can actually do one side all at the same time. So I fold back down to my center line, turn over, I'm back to that first fold, fold it one more time, and fold it a third time. And then we open up. So are we ready to fly? Okay, we're gonna turn my camera. Probably is going to go upside down if I do it that way. So if I turn you... What do I need to loosen?
I'll post a video.
Okay.
I'll post a video of the flight separately.
So it looks like we're going to end up posting... Where's my airplane?
I got it. Just go ahead and fly.
Okay. Hey, there we go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Amy Beth's also going to try and post because it looks like that didn't work real well. But our flight here, if I try and throw it this way, there we go. We'll be posting several other videos. Please post yours also. We would love to see. So a couple of my challenges with the cardstock was what would happen if you folded yours with a heavyweight cardstock. You could also fold with a lightweight tissue paper, see how well that would do. You could fold with the cardstock little piece also. So our next challenge to fold was our copters. Amy, for my parachute, where'd the plastic bag sail away to?
It flew off the table.
Okay. Ah, there it is. We're doing that one next. But next one, we need our... another 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Okay, Miley, stop, please.
Oh, I'm stopping.
We have a request to slow down and refold the paper airplane, please.
Slow down, refold. Okay.
And families, I, for some reason, can't respond to questions. I will individually respond to everybody at the end. Thank you for commenting and liking us. Refold paper airplane, please.
Refold. Okay. So, we're taking our paper. First step was to fold in half hot dog. Okay, so we have our hot dog folded in half. This is your center fold line. I'm actually going to grab my gardening stool. Give me just a moment so I'm a little bit closer. Okay. Ah! Kick the table. So what we're going to do is now this is going to be my nose. I'm going to grab just one half and I'm going to fold it to take that corner to my center line and fold. So I'm only going to fold one half, one side of my paper airplane to start with. So I've got my fold line, I've got my center line. I'm now going to take this fold line to the center line. And those are what I'm matching up. So I'm taking that fold to the center line. Hold that there so it matches. Fold my line. So I'm staying still on this side. I'm going to take this fold line to my center line. Trying to keep my nose as, so I kind of curl it, run a finger down to help because I've now got multiple layers. And I'm matching up that fold line to my center spine. Trying to keep my fingers out of the view. So you ended up folding it 3 times. This is just one side, so if I turn it over, I can fold it again. So I'm taking my corner to my center line. Folding. I'm going to take this fold line I just folded to the center. So that would be 1. This is 2. Again, as neat as a nose as I can get. This is my second fold. Actually, this is 1, 2, this is 3. I can count today. And then our last fold, again, is going to be this fold line back to my center line. Kind of get my nose, line it up on my center. So then when I open it, I'm going to hold, this is upside down. I'm holding all of my pieces together, and I've got that last fold, so it's under, my fingers are underneath it, and I can hold. If I loosen it up just a little bit, like it's let go of my hand, the air cuts through and goes down the valley. Did everybody get that? Okay, so then as I throw this, I'll try and throw it across the video. There we go.
Okay, Miley, let's hang out for a couple of minutes while the kids catch up with us on folding.
Okay.
We've had a couple of requests. For some reason, I'm not able to comment back. James asked, what if I have a favorite airplane that I want to use? James, this is a chance for you to learn something new and to try something different. Absolutely. You can always use your airplane, but sometimes adding in a new airplane is great. How is Miley getting her thrust? Can you guys type it in for me? What's giving our paper airplane thrust?
This is also not, this is the paper airplane that won me the pizza. I have learned lots of paper airplanes since then. If you're able to join us for summer camps, we have an entire paper airplane curriculum where I have about 24 different paper airplanes.
I guess we can stand up straight.
Here, I'll lean this way. So I have lots of different airplanes out there. Miss Marissa just joined us this morning. Her favorite challenge with her paper airplanes, especially because she tends to work with our older students, our 5th, 6th, 7th graders. I think you even had 8th graders last summer. So our middle schools, her favorite challenge is to, here you go, take this piece of paper. Your challenge is 1, it must fly. 2, needs to go forward some sort of feet, normally about 3 to 4 feet, and then it has to turn right or left. Yay, I did those right. Has to turn right or left and make that corner. That's our middle school challenge. Love to see some videos from you guys if you would like to try that challenge also.
Number 2, we are having technical difficulties with me responding to comments. So be patient. I promise by the end I will respond to everybody. Also had the request for reminders. Please email me or post, private message me your email, and I will send out reminders. We send them out the day before with the notebooks, and in the morning I also send out a quick reminder. All right, Miley. We also had a request. Are they going to need a plastic bag? If possible, one of our last, we're going to teach parachutes. So if you have a lightweight plastic bag, great. If not, Ziploc baggie. Light paper works, not quite as well, but it's a good variable for your children to compare a vegetable bag, a Ziploc baggie, paper, tissue. Keep them learning while they're stuck at home. Give them a pile and say, do it. Here's Miley to go on for our next activity.
My other comment is, anybody who's tech savvy and does this all the time, Miss Amy and I would love to figure out how to get our phones and our computers to talk to each other so that we don't have some of our technical difficulties. Please PM us. We'd love some advice.
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, moving back down to my screen. Or my apron. Okay. So let me rotate this back a little bit. My paper airplanes, we're gonna go off to the side so we can fly them again later on. So for this one, we need a 8.5 by 11 and either a pair of scissors or you're gonna tear paper. So our first fold is going to be folded in half like a book. Then it's really easy. Your next step, we're going to go ahead and open this one up and we want to cut along that fold line. So we can set off one half off to the side. You can use it to make a second one. If there are two of you watching the video, one person can use one half, one person can use the other half. Totally fine. Your first fold is not quite in half. You want to use your thumb to measure to the end, and I'm going to line up about half an inch from the end.
So pause there for a minute, let the kids catch up. Repeat the directions, maybe show it on your second one so the kids are catching up.
Okay, so I cut my 8.5 in half, so I've got two. I'm then going to fold about a half an inch, a thumb width from the end. So I'm going to go ahead and do my second one. My thumb goes down.
Can you draw your orange line on that fold so the kids
Sure.
can see it?
So you guys don't have to draw it. It's just to try and make it a little bit easier to show you white on white. So I'm folding down to that, not quite in half. So if I put my thumb here, probably should just leave my marker off. I want to fold to right about that line. So I'm folding to, it's about a thumb width from the end, about a half an inch. Does not need to be exact. Oop, off the camera. And fold. Next step is we're going to go from the fold, again using my thumb as a measuring tool. So I've opened up my piece of paper. I can see my fold line. I'm going to mark it again, and that's the fold I want this time. So how do we want to do this? Oh, look, the orange came through the backside. I'm going to fold it a second time. Oh, that works well. I can see it on the other side. Okay. Sorry, I'm used to doing this right in front of the kids and trying to figure out over the video its own set of challenges. Okay. So I've got the two folds. It's about a half an inch roughly in the center of my piece of paper. So what I did is I turned it over this time. And I want it from my fold line, I want it that thumb. So if I mark it one more time, I want it that thumb distance. So I'm going to lose my marker. So I've got my fold line. I've got where I want it to be. I want it to be about a thumb's width from the end. And I'm going to fold it a second time. Is that making sense to everybody? So I end up with about a half an inch, a thumb, in roughly the center of my piece of paper.
Is it kind of like a book binding, Miley?
Yeah, that's actually a great way of putting it. So it's like a book binding. Okay, we ready to step on? So what we're going to do is, using my scissors again, on one side I'm going to cut in half down to that first fold line. So I've cut it in half. So with my second one, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to cut to that first fold line. Okay, my second line, I'm going to cut again, but I want this half to be in thirds. So I'm kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to cut just a little bit in on that line on one side and on the second side. If you cut all the way across, guess what? That's what tape band-aids are for. So I've got this roughly in thirds. I'm going to do it one more time on my second one. I have the side that I cut in half. Then I'm going to cut my other side into thirds. So a little bit on one side. And even if I only do just a little bit, and I'm nowhere near even, it will still work. So our next one is, scissors go away. We're going to take this and I'm going to take that and fold it. So I kind of end up with a T-looking shape. And I'm going to fold the other side. So I folded it roughly into thirds. So I have kind of a wonky T. So this one with my second one, I can fold. So I'm folding it into thirds. And this is going to be a weight-driven flight. So we're going to go down. We're going to let gravity is going to be pulling on this, and the actual weight of my flyer is what sends it down. So here at the bottom, I want to fold it at least once. You can fold it 2-3 times. The paper clips portion was, you could also add, so on this one, I'm going to fold it twice. So just kind of rolling it so it's folded. On this one, I'm going to fold it once and add a paper clip so that you guys can see a different variable, a change. Actually, I think I'm going to send it this way, keep the weight all the way on the bottom. So one is going to be just simply folded twice. One has my paper clip weight. The last step to get this to fly is with mine that were folded in half. One folds to me, one folds away. So with my second one, again, one half is going to fold to me, one half folds the other direction. And then to fly these is really simple. I hold on to either my paper clip or my weight. I'm going to come from a distance, so getting really close to you guys. And then as I let go, it spins. Here, I'm going to try and rotate this so we can actually see off the edge of the table. Ta-da! And it spins all the way down. Here's my second one. So we can come high. So weight pulls it down. Or excuse me, gravity pulls it down. The weight is what gives us our spiral effect. Okay. So did everybody get a chance to see how this works? So it's the weight of either the paper clip or my folded. And we actually could change our variables. Unfold this a bit. We're going to come off. What happens with no fold? Oh, it still worked. So we've got our paper clip on the bottom. And I'm going to rotate you a little bit further.
This is showing really well, mine.
So, has everybody gotten their rotators going?
Ask them what are the 4 forces of flight to tell their parents.
So who remembers my 4 forces of flight? Which force, actually there's kind of 2 in here, which force are our rotators using? Okay, so it's going to use weight. We've added the paper clip or the folded or the weight of the paper itself. We've also have lift our wings, the size of our rotators, will also change. Can you tell your parents what are the two missing forces that I didn't mention with our rotators? Okay. Are we back on the table?
Typing questions.
Okay, feel free to type in questions. Miss Amy's at least verbally commenting, or she seems to have gotten her computer up that she can type in comments. So for our next experiment, I asked for string. I have this gnarly ball of crochet thread.
Miley, just wait a moment.
Oh, okay.
Parents, remember you can play back this live video for the kids. So if they're not keeping up or got stuck on the helicopters and are having fun, let them have fun and come back in for the next lab and the next how-to on the parachutes. You know, we're all stuck at home right now. It doesn't have to be done instantly. The key thing is the kids are learning, that they're having fun, and they're doing tests. A great add-on would be for you to request the child to draw or write their test out and then do it and record it. So we get a little bit of writing in. We're limited in time on what we can do, so you may want to watch and come back. Send us emails, send us questions. We are responding.
So for go back to my my visual airplane. So lift is our wings that gave us up. Our drag, you got to actually see the drag with the rotators, copters. That is what gives us our spiraling effect for the drag. Weight is what actual weight. So my test with my parachute is whether my stormtrooper, don't tell JT I have his, or my dino, who's going to have the better flight. And then thrust was with the paper airplanes, was that forward motion that you use to toss your paper airplane. So our supplies for our parachute. You could use string, yarn if you have it. For those of you who don't, narrow strips of paper, you only need 4. And I have lots of paper out here, so what I'm going to do, and we want it fairly narrow. You could, if you have chop machine, if you have quilling paper, but you want it, I don't know, I think I put these about the width of my smallest fingernail. It's one of my favorite measurements. So I need 4 of them. So you could use string. I have I have a yarn stash, but this is one of my older crochet threads that my dog decided to run around the room with one day. So I have 4 threads cut. You can welcome to use paper. We need some sort of weight. So if you have a minifig character, if you want to use your scissors, you could use your scissors. We also need tape for this one. And then I'm going to use a produce bag from... I think this is Smart and Final given its size, but it's too big. So what I want to do is I want to shorten it up just a little bit. So I want it to go about in half. So I'm actually going to just do a rough cut and chop it in half. So it ends up being a little bit bigger, about the size of my hand. And then it's perfect other than that. So it will open up really nicely and work with the air resistance to capture.
Will a Ziploc baggie work if I don't have a...
Yes, Ziploc baggies work really well. My suggestion would be cut off the zip portion so that you're not dealing with fighting that extra thick plastic and the resistance that comes with a zip. You could also, with your zips, use a little piece of tape on the 2 ends to once you've cut off the zip portion, to reinforce where the plastics stay together. Which is one of the things, you can see my plastic right here is coming apart. So if I use a little piece of tape there, we'll just reinforce so that it doesn't split. And I'm just going one side to the other side. to reinforce. So my first step is going to be, how do I attach my figure to my threads? My length of my string is about 18 inches. So from my fingertips to just about my elbow length. My strips of my paper were, I must have gone from the 8.5 sides. So you could go 8.5 or 11 depending on how long your paper is. You could also tape your paper together so that you had long strands. I think I like that idea. So instead of 4 little strips of paper, I'm going to do 8. I think I've taped myself to it. I've got my tape. So one of my characters is going to be attached to my strips of paper. One of my characters is going to be attached to my string. And I think Stormtrooper's getting the paper. So I've got to figure out what's the best way of taping him on. I think I'm going to do multiple pieces of tape. So I'm going to put the tape.
Let me know if you need a second set of hands since you're on the video.
Tape him on. Yeah, could you cut me? I need like 4 more pieces of paper, 4 more little strips. So I'm taping my minifig. And I'm extending my strip. So that gives him his 2 parachute cords from the front.
So that's what attaches to the parachute that my minifig is. How my minifig is attached.
So I'm going to let you finish attaching him.
Need to make sure it's nice and strong, that it doesn't untape.
Fingers back under the camera so they can see what you're doing.
I just want to make sure that he doesn't untape from the piece of paper. We have good connection. So now he can fly. Well, he'll fly on his back.
He'll fall. Wait a second, he needs 4.
Oh.
So that's 2. Here's 3.
Here?
Sure. We're figuring this out as we go.
And kids, remember, if you tape to tape, it doesn't work great. You need to tape to the minifig itself. Otherwise, it'll pop off. Oops.
Okay, so that gives us our 4 lead lines on our minifig. On the Stormtrooper, for my dinosaur, I'm going to do him in the string. So I've got my 4 together. I'm going to do a circle. And then I'm going to reach through my circle, grabbing the 4 ends. And pulling tight. Okay, yes, I'm a Girl Scout. No, I don't remember the name of that knot. Boy Scout leader? Oh, Amy Beth as the Boy Scout leader doesn't remember.
It's a knot you use to tie your shoe.
And I'm just going through and pulling each of the 4 tight. And then I'm going to tangle them around his arms.
Does anybody remember which dinosaur she's going to send flying? What's his name?
So I've got them going around his arms. I'm also going to go ahead and tape it also. But I'm going to bring all 4 across the back. and tape it here on his back. So I know he is also secure from his strings. Then I'm going to take my 4 ends, kind of untwist them, and I want to choose, I'm going to do 4 pieces of tape, stick them so I don't have to bother taping in just a moment. What I want to do is I want to figure out where on my plastic bag. I don't want my strings next to each other. I want to kind of separate them out so that I can tape each to a different section. So if I grab one string end, sorry, wind's catching the other piece. I'm going to grab one string, one tape. I've got a good tape to string connection. I'm then going to do tape, string, and bag connection. So I've got one on. Yep. Where's your other string from this side? It doesn't really matter which string you grab, it just are your cords twisted or not. So string to tape, tape, string to bag. That gives me my one side. I'm going to turn it over. I've got my other side.
Obviously, a second pair of hands help. Hey, siblings, this is your chance to work together. Help each other before you test.
Okay.
The only safety issue we have on these tests, number 1, no throwing them at your sibling. I don't care that it's your brother. Number 2, with the weight of our minifigs, they do break lamps, so take it outside to test.
Okay, so hold this. I'm going to move the camera upright so we can actually see. Well, there we go.
Parachutes take height. I'm going to have to throw it up, so we'll see. Ready?
Ready?
All right. I'm going to put it all kind of, scrunch it together, and, ooh, there's a tree right in the way. Whoosh!
Ah! Okay, sibling's out of the way. She's throwing it at me.
All right. It actually worked really pretty well.
Hang on, I'm going to remove the camera from the
I
holder.
think it got in the camera, though.
Okay, let's try it this way.
Okay. Out of the way of the tree again. I scrunched my parachute. It's okay. And I'm going to throw it as high as I can. And down he came. And he survived. He didn't break into pieces. My Lego figure is still some unknown dinosaur.
Okay, you want to try it one more time?
I have to do a dinosaur lesson so I can learn my names again. Okay.
Yeah, her son's about 14 now.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Where'd it go?
All right. Same
Okay.
with the paper minifig.
So what we're going to do is pull the strings
Okay.
and tape our paper minifig on.
And I just pulled the tape, or the string out of the tape.
Here, show it slowly.
So I left the tape on the bag. Then you're not trying to rip the bag, and it can be reused multiple times. All right. 4 pieces of tape. Tape. Oh. While we're taping, kids, we also want to know what other science lessons you would like us to teach you. I know we have a middle school engineering challenge coming up. I know we have an absorption chemistry lesson coming.
So next Monday we're going to be doing, gotta grab the list again. The absorption. Next Wednesday we're going to be doing marbleizing. and then next Friday is a different engineering. So if you have another idea for us, we are looking at putting together video tutorials. So keep an eye on our Facebook page. We're getting that, upside down. We're getting our YouTube channel together also to put these on. So she's got our little stormtrooper. Oh, poor stormtrooper.
Will he survive?
Out from the tree. Up. Woo, nice flight.
And he floated a lot lower and took more time to get to the ground. What does that tell us about our forces of flight? Weight. Who's heavier, Mr. Stormtrooper or our dinosaur? So great variables to play with. As a reminder, a variable is the thing that changes in our science experiment. So we had the same bag. We actually had two variables because we had the strings and the paper. But the main variable would be our weight of our dinosaur and our minifig. If you don't have a minifig Lego, it doesn't matter. A Hot Wheel race car will work. A plastic cup. You choose what you want to fly. I'm sure you guys have lots of goodies. Ooh, a Beanie Baby. Can you make a parachute to fly your Beanie Baby and not have it just go swoosh? All right, Miss Miley, back to you.
I want to fly our airplanes. I want to fly everybody one more time. And then I think we're at the end. Okay. So, back to my paper airplane. You ready to see?
Yep.
Let's see how fast Miss Amy can turn the camera. Here we go. Ooh, wait, we'll get one more going.
We do have a small breeze here, so our wind is affecting our flight.
Okay, last one. There it goes. Okay, so the one that won me the pizza was a big piece of paper, about 22 inches. It went across the room and out the window. The other one that was up against me went into the wall. It was great fun watching it smack. Okay, so for our copters, our rotators, I have my wings going each direction and my weight. Refold. So it's just a simple drop it and let it rotate down. This one has the paper clip on it, so it's got more weight. A different rotation. And we're going to do one more time with our parachute. Okay. Coming away from my tree. Rotating him up. And 1, 2, 3.
So, little kids, did you see Miley's flight was much lower than mine? Doesn't matter that your brother can throw it twice your height. It all will work, and those are great variables to play with. A last quick look on our forces of flight. Hey, Mom, Dad, there's your test for your kids. Can they remember them and tell you and explain them? We will be posting our calendar of events, so please keep a like. If you follow our Facebook page, you do get reminders, and we will also be emailing everybody who sends me their email. We are liking how our kids are supporting us. Spectrum of Science is a small nonprofit. At this point in time, we are all unemployed. So helping us on social media and supporting us that way, we're hoping to get enough followers that we can on like YouTube start getting some ads and stuff and maybe make some payroll. I have a middle school challenge lab coming up. We're going to challenge the middle school and high schoolers. And yes, it does include writing, but I think you'll really enjoy the build that you get to do. Parents, do you want an adult-only lab? Kids, what else would you like to teach us to teach you? We are having super fun. Thanks for your patience in working with Spectrum of Science as we learn this new technology. Stay safe, wash your hands, and enjoy.